Welcome, Brandon, to the State of the Union podcast. Really appreciate you spending some time here. We know you don't have a lot of it. All right, we're going to get right into it. By the way, you look wonderful. You got this whole Clark Kent thing going on. This is what you are off the field, and then you get on the field and you turn into Superman. I'm going to ask you a question because this is the question that a lot of American soccer fans have right now. I'm assuming you want to get called into the U.S. men's national team, but do you think you are going to get called into the U.S. men's national team? And do you think that you have done enough to get called in to the U.S. men's national team?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. And of course, I want to be there. I know a lot of players there. I feel like I'd fit in perfectly. And absolutely, I think I've done a lot, but I think also it's an endless work that it takes to be there, and I don't think it's close to being done. I think the work is barely starting, and I'm thriving to get there, and I just gotta keep pushing.
Brandon, be honest. Now that the World Cup is approaching and your name is being mentioned, are you checking what other strikers are doing, whether it's Jesus Ferreira in MLS or guys like Pifok, Pepe, and Sargent in Europe? Do you have kind of one eye on what they're doing as well and comparing them to you?
Well, I'm not going out of my way to check, but I do follow MLS and USMNT on social medias and stuff. So it does pop up on my feed every now and then. So I feel like I'm pretty updated on how everybody else is doing, but I try to not pay attention to the buzz. Like I said, and go out of my way to be seeing this kind of stuff. I try to just focus on myself and not to compare myself. I feel like that could play mental games, and I just want to be the best that I could be and push myself to be the best I can be.
Does it bother you that in conversations about the national team, there's still a type of U.S. fan that dismisses what a player does in MLS and puts much more stock in what they do in Europe?
For sure. I mean, everybody has their own opinion. Obviously, if a striker's scoring goals in the Premier League and not, or in the MLS versus Premier League, then obviously some people will say that it's better. The player scoring in Premier League is better, but like I said earlier, it's something that's out of my control. I have to just focus on improving myself every day, and hopefully I can be there in the Premier League one day.
Why is this happening now? You have, look, you were recognized as talent at a young age. You were a dual national. You played with youth teams. Yes, you sat behind someone like Joseph Martinez, and so you're getting your opportunity right now. But is it a coaching thing? Is it just a maturity thing? Is it just a time thing? Why do you think this is happening right now in terms of you not just scoring, but scoring consistently and really kind of raising your game to a level that we just haven't seen yet?
Yeah, for sure. I think the stars have really aligned for me this year. I mean, all my hard work that I've been putting in behind the scenes has kind of come to fruition this year, especially having a good coaching staff that has really believed in me from the second they've stepped here. And having their confidence for sure helps me step onto the field and perform at my best. And being with this squad for quite amount of time now, it builds the chemistry between me and the players that are surrounding me. So I feel like the players surrounding me that are helping me succeed, or we just have good chemistry.
Brandon, you kind of already answered this anyway, but I'll still ask it. You were linked with Leeds United recently. So is Europe something that you definitely see in your future? And would it be England your top choice if you could go to any league in the world?
Yeah, I heard about that. For sure. My whole career, my objective, my goal has been to go over to Europe, play in the top leagues of the world, top teams of the world, and be able to compete at the highest level possible. And yeah, of course, it's still one of my objectives, and it's something that I want to be performing in one day. So yeah, and England, Spain, France, Germany. I mean, wherever the best opportunity for me would be, that's where I'd be the happiest.
You have seen the good and the bad of Cincinnati. And when it comes to FC Cincinnati this year, regardless of ultimately what happens, I think that it is going to be a success and an improvement and a progression and an evolution right now. What do you think has happened, and what has been that change of mentality? And obviously new coaches coming in, but but what has that done to change the fortunes of Cincinnati this year?
Yeah, you like you mentioned, the coaching staff coming in kind of switched everything around, the whole culture of the club, of the team. This year with the new coaching staff coming in, we were kind of clear on what everybody's role in the team was when we stepped onto the field. Last year, there was a lot of moments where there was players questioning where they were supposed to be exactly and what transition of the game, that kind of stuff. And it confused a lot of players, but this year everybody really knows exactly what they need to be doing, and that's helped the team a tremendous amount. And the hunger this team has to succeed and make history and not be a last place team is really shown on the field. So I'm very happy about that.
Brandon, not that many teams play with two up top anymore, but you have Brenner alongside of you, and you two have developed such a nice chemistry this season. You've both been very productive. Do you like playing with another center forward up there alongside of you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like it makes it harder on the center backs as well. If Brenner's dragging out a center back, it's easier for me to be running in behind or coming in the feet. And with both of us playing really close together, it really confuses the center backs. If one steps, it makes them hesitate a lot. And especially having a player like Lucho Acosta underneath us, playing us balls in behind, I think it's a perfect combination. Me and Brenner, like you said, we have great chemistry and we understand how we play, and it's worked for us.
My friend, hell is real. All right, it's coming again. It's wonderful to see this rivalry between Cincinnati and Columbus, and that Cincinnati is Columbus is important. We got another one coming this way. First off, how do you feel going into this game? And then, more importantly, is hell really real in terms of this rivalry, the way that you feel it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is one of the biggest games of the year, and we played against them a couple weeks ago, and we didn't take a point out of that. We lost 1-0, and I think we have a chip on our shoulder now. We have this revenge feeling, and every time there's one of these hell is real games, you can feel it. You can feel it before the game. You can feel it when you get to the stadium. The tension is just a rivalry that's real. So yeah, we're looking to take all 3 points this weekend, and I think this team is hungry. And I think I said 1-0, but it was 2-0, I believe.
Do you feel like you're a team that if you make the playoffs, you could be very dangerous with all the firepower you guys have? We know the MLS playoffs can be unpredictable. So is the mentality, let's just figure out a way to get in and then you kind of restart and anything can happen?
Yeah, that's exactly it. We just need I think we are a playoff team. I think we'd be a great playoff team. So as long as we can get in there, anything can happen. We've had incredible performances this year as a whole team, and if we could have those same performances in playoffs, who knows how far we could go. I mean, we could surprise the league and get farther than anybody expects.
Let's spin it back to the national team. If you are called in, what do you think you bring specifically in the way that you play? And you've watched the U.S. men's national team play, so you know the situation going on there. And, even now with Jesus Ferreira, he plays the position very differently than you do. But what do you think that you can bring that is needed and missing when it comes to the U.S. men's national team for that specific number 9 striker position?
Yeah, I think I bring a big presence up top, a big presence in the box. And I feel like I'm really good at my movement in the box and understanding where my positioning needs to be depending on the players around me. So I think I could bring some strength and power up top and, a big presence for sure.
Brandon, you are still eligible for Mexico. There's an assumption that you would prefer the U.S., but what happens if Mexico calls you up first?
If Mexico calls me up first, then I would have to talk to my agents and see if U.S. is matching the same thing. I need to get together with my family and agents as well and make that decision when it comes to that moment. But yeah, like you said, I have to keep all doors open. I have to do what's best for my career. And if Mexico calls and U.S. doesn't, then I'll have to make a decision then. But yeah, I've said it before. I grew up in a Mexican family watching Mexico national team games. And so I have Mexico in the blood, but I also grew up in the youth national team. And I know most of the national team, the men's national team players. I played with almost all of them or against all of them. So I feel like I have a good chemistry there as well. And I fit in right away.
Do you believe that somebody playing for a national team ultimately has to feel something for the country that he or she is representing. And I'm not saying that you playing for Mexico, you wouldn't feel something, but I guess it would be the argument or the concern would be that someone like you that has these different opportunities, and you mentioned weighing the two and the balance there, that there could possibly be a mercenary element of it coming in. And I'm just going because this is the team that called me, and I just want to play in a World Cup. And that can be incredible motivation. But do you believe ultimately, I guess is a much bigger question, that when somebody is playing for a national team, that ultimately it's because they want to play specifically for that country and they feel something for that country?
Absolutely. I think players get their best games out of them, and as like a love for the country, passion, like you said, I think players get the best game out of themselves when they have that hunger to help their country succeed and represent. It's a big privilege, and I think it's something that nobody should take for granted.
Have you had much communication with Greg Berhalter or his coaching staff? Have they let you know, hey, we're watching you, keep doing what you're doing, we definitely are keeping tabs on you?
Yeah, exactly. I talked to Greg right before the June camp, where there was a Morocco game here in Cincinnati, and then a couple games after that. And he basically said the same thing. He said, keep scoring, keep that rhythm going, and we have another camp in September, and we could possibly be seeing you there. And a couple weeks ago, we played Philadelphia. His assistant coach, Anthony Hudson, came out to the game, spoke with him after the game. He's basically telling me what they want to see in their national team number 9 and their starting position number 9, and what they would like to see from me. And even though they play a different formation, they play with 1 forward and we play here at 2 forwards, to keep in mind what they like as well in their number 9. So, yeah, I've had a little bit more communication there.
You mentioned the coaching staff that come in and has fundamentally changed the tactics and I guess the philosophy and the character of the team. And you've mentioned Dominic Kinnear, an old friend, a legend when it comes to Major League Soccer coaching, who's the assistant coach there next to Pat. So what has he done specifically with your game to change you and make you the player that you are today?
Yeah, we do video sessions. We stay after training ends. We work on finishing. We work on hold to play. And specifically, yeah, just all the small stuff that makes me a better player, that helps me get better performances for myself every single weekend. The small details of where spaces are open to run into, where when we're holding up the ball, where we expect Lucho to be, all that kind of stuff that helps me not have to think twice about what I'm doing next when I'm getting the ball, already having plays resolved and that kind of stuff. It's all helped an incredible amount, and it's given me an incredible amount of confidence as well. So I think it's shown that on the field for sure.
Is there some established world-class striker that you really admire, that you would compare yourself to, that you kind of try to model your game after?
Yeah, growing up before I was a center forward, I was actually a winger, and I was like, I idolized Ronaldinho, Cristiano Ronaldo. And then once I started playing as a center forward, I was watching Benzema, Lewandowski, and then Lukaku, trying to see players that are my kind of build and frame, so I could style my play and I can take the good stuff they use and integrate into my kind of play. So yeah, I would say Benzema and Lewandowski mostly out of anybody. Yeah.
All right, a couple more questions and then we'll let you go here. FC Cincinnati, what happens this year? You make the playoffs?
Yep, I 100% believe so.
Okay.
I think we have the capability to do it. We have the caliber of players, and we could definitely be in there for sure. We deserve
it. And then this is my final question. You're a sneakerhead, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say you get called into the national team. Even if you don't, you know that the U.S. men's national team coach, Greg Berhalter, is a very, very public sneakerhead, and he's got game, okay? Yeah. If you had to go head-to-head with Greg Berhalter when it comes to your sneaker collection, who would come out on top? And give me your favorite or a couple of your favorites that you have in that incredible closet full of sneakers that you have.
The only times I've seen Greg's sneaker collections when he's on the sideline. So I've seen him wear Jordan 4s, Air Force 1s, you know, and I love Jordans. So I would definitely have to pull out some Jordan 1s. You know, I've been collecting Jordan 1s since I was 15 years old, and I have more shoes than I can count. So I would hope to say me, but I don't know what he could be hiding in his closet. You know, he could have some fire back there that I don't know about.
Do you have a prized possession when it comes to one? If there was, God forbid, there was a fire and you could only take one.
I have these UNC colorway Jordan 1s that is in a collaboration with the company Off-White, and those have been my favorites since the moment I've seen them. Yeah.
Well, listen, my friend. If you get called into the national team, and then if you are on that plane to Qatar, I bet you there's some people out there that would love to give you some special USA sneakers out there and increase the number of pairs in your wardrobe. Brandon Vazquez, thank you so much for coming on the State of the Union podcast. I wish you all of the luck when it comes to FC Cincinnati and this run up to the playoffs. Continue scoring, my friend. Continue doing what you're doing. I think you're going to be called into this next camp, and I think that is ultimately going to decide whether you're on the plane to Qatar. But when you are, and I think you are going to be, best of luck with the national team. You have, to a certain extent, earned this opportunity, but now it's up to you to take it. And from what I've seen so far, it's been wonderful. So Clark Kent turning into Superman, it's going to be wonderful. And maybe that Superman will have the American flag on his back come November and December in Qatar. Thank you very much, Brandon.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. It was a pleasure.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops twice a week right here on my very own YouTube page. The only way to stay up to date is to hit that subscribe button down below. Size the day, and see you soon.